it's running out pretty damn good here. I'm slowed right down because I think my sieve loss sensitivity is kind of not where it should be, because I don't see any reason I shouldn't be able to do like 3.5 mile an hour in this. Don't have the drop pen with me to really know, but me and Dad are just poking around by ourselves. It kind of looks like we're only going to get 2 or 3 hours before a storm rolls in, or there's a big system in North Dakota right now dumping rain, or looks like it's raining on the radar. Ooh, I got a lift. That's really, you're not 38, you're way better than that, I guarantee it. Where are you going up to? Whoa. I think it's better than 48. There we go. Now it's catching up. Dad's over there playing. We're both doing the headland around here. Peas have seemed to dry down pretty good. We're not getting nearly as much green. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of stuff. If you have any questions, comments, critiques, concerns, please leave me a comment and I will do my best to get back to you. Something else we seem to have gotten dialed in on this combine is did some tweaking with the spreaders, and not so much the settings, but the alignment and positioning at the back, and it's throwing it right out to the edge of the next swath, which is good, really good. That's exactly what you want. You don't want strips in your field where there's heavy organic matter and then light stuff, especially if you end up going on the same tracks year over year. That's really bad. You want 35 feet, like this, what these headers are, is 35 feet slung out the back, 35 feet wide. That way you get nice even trash distribution, and it goes through the seeder better, and you get a balance of your organic matter. Well, we're out in Dad's peas still. They took a really long time to dry down, being that yesterday was 33 and the day before that was 30. Even though we did get a couple little shots of rain, kind of see by what's going on in the tank here. You know, there's a few pods, big old grasshopper there, a couple of them, but there's not nearly as much greens as there was. Now, we're not terribly concerned about them because they will dry down. If we give it air on a hot day, it'll just suck the moisture out and they'll turn in the bin. And it's usually really good to run some air on the peas. One, you got to get them cooled down, because more often than not, it seems like we're putting peas in in August when it's 30 degrees at least. And then you got to add a lot of the friction from handling and threshing and all that. A lot of times there's 35 plus degree. That's not very good for the seed. Well, it's fine for it. It's just not good for long-term storage, because you'll get kind of a cooling effect or condensation effect going on in the bin, where any moisture that's in the bin is going to rise, and then say on a cool night it'll hit the slope of the bin and it'll condensate out and make for quite the crust on the top 6 or 8 inches, and that's just no fun. And if you're not paying attention, that can heat, and that's bad too. And yeah, so it's kind of is what it is. I didn't make a good corner because I was talking to you guys, so I better back it up here. And Dad is way over there, where I can't see what you're seeing. He's over there. He busted a knife section, so so he's just got to, and it was actually, the section broke a bolt, which sucks. Those are a lot harder to change. Not harder, technically about the same difficulty. It's just a little more awkward and not as fast. You go down, you go down. So we're just hoping we can get 4 or 5 hours in before we get any more drizzle. We haven't had any serious rain today. We haven't had any serious rain in a long time. My sieves are always sensing that they're overloaded, so I'm going to turn it down just a hair. Because there's, at this speed, there's 80 bushel. That's probably part of it. But even at 50, 60, like what it is now, it shouldn't be so far overloaded that there's no reason I shouldn't be able to do 3.5 mile an hour in 50 bushel in this stuff. See, I'm doing 2.7 in 50, and yeah, it's redlining at times. Being that it's peas, it typically will separate itself out because it's a nice big heavy seed, and everything else is small and light. So you get it going through the sieves there with the air coming through, and all the chaff blows through and all the peas fall down. Sorry, all the chaff blows up and all the peas fall through. Well, I think it was just that the stalks are still a touch chewy, and because I'm doing 4 mile an hour, 30 bushel an acre, not throwing anything significant over. There's 4.5, and I'm at times losing, so I think she's pretty good now. It's just, it was pretty overcast and it spit for a little bit, so hopefully the other side of this run turns out a little better, because it is not yielding. It hasn't had any rain. Like, this was planted May 3rd, and I'd have to check, but like, it might have had an inch and a half during seeding, probably until about May long. Then I don't think since May long, we've had 3/4 of an inch at the farm, and the farm's, half a mile behind me. It's been so dry along the hills, and typically it's a little bit wetter down here than the stuff we have down at Wordsworth. Stuff we have out to the east of town there, that's a coin flip. You never know what's going on out there. Some years it's wetter, some years it's drier. Well, we're finishing off. This would be the west third of this field, and most of it, especially the middle here, is running about where I expected, around that 40 to 45, maybe even 50 range. Now, actually, if we look over on the field view monitor here, you can see, just kind of weird that I don't really know why it's that way. I'll try and block that out, but it seemed like this 2/3 of the field, the chemical seemed to really stunt it and set it back, because I sprayed this and then the headland. So, but I had 2 different tanks. It's kind of weird. Not really sure at all why. It's just really strange. It seems like kind of a lot of the lower, like the side hills, are where the yield is dragging. This is kind of higher ground in the middle. That's higher ground. This is all higher ground. There is some stuff over here that was a little bit higher, but that's all gravelly and kind of really tough land, so I wouldn't put a lot of thought into that. Where's Dad going? Showing his combine outside of the field. But he's right over there. That's weird. Anyways, it was definitely, there was a storm coming in, so it's, you know, before a thunderstorm, and oddly enough it was a thunderstorm, but we got like 1/10 of an inch of rain maybe, but I don't know. So I know I sprayed this first, and then I went and I sprayed the rest of it. Don't really know for sure the time. I do remember that was also the video where I was troubleshooting it, and I had a bad connection in a wiring harness. So I'm not sure if it was done on different days or not. I can't recall 100%. I might have to go back and look at that video. But yeah, something with what I did here versus what I did over there, not really sure why. I was thinking it was something to do with the UV, but it could be more the timing of maybe it needed to be, it's better to spray it early in the morning than mid-afternoon. I know they kind of advise not to spray it after supper, and I think that's what got me into trouble down south a bit. It seemed like the chemical didn't work, and I got wild oats coming in. And again, I don't remember. It'd be really handy to sit there and go, yeah, that was on this tank or that tank, tank 1, 2, 3. So you know that, oh, I finished at this time or whatever. You can kind of go, yeah, this is my later tank, and this is the one that had the damage, or vice versa. This was my first tank, the one that had caused damage. So maybe I'll talk to Climate Field View and see if they have that feature. That might be a really good one to have. It might already exist as well.